We are going to get going. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the September Mentor Zoom. The attendance link is in the chat, as well as the join code for Mobile Mind. I will be asking everyone to check in with Mobile Mind, as well as fill in the attendance form as well. So if you are listening to this recording, know that all the links that I am dropping into the chat are also on the email that you found the recording link on. So with no further ado, let's get going. I would like to see how mentoring is going for you. So I'm going to take just a couple minutes to allow you to put a comment in a Padlet. So there's the Padlet. Please click into that pad link and let me know how it's going in your mentoring world. I'm just going to give a couple minutes to allow you to do that. Amy joined on. Hello, Amy. Absolutely. Hi, Olivia. Yes, let me get those attendance links back for everyone. Also, if you didn't hear me say, I'm trying to do a better job with Mobile Mind. I have promised Amanda that I am going to ask participants to check in using the join code. So not only am I putting the attendance link in, but I'm also putting the join code for Mobile Mind. And if you're just logging on, I am asking for everyone to let me know how it's going in your mentoring world by adding a comment on a Padlet. So there's a Padlet link in the chat as well. And I'm just going to give you a couple more minutes. There's what that Padlet looks like. And if you haven't been in Padlet lately, there is that plus button in the lower right-hand corner. And if you click into that yellow plus, you have an opportunity to add a comment. It's like you add a sticky note onto. I'm so happy to see that mentoring is going well for everyone. That's excellent. I'll just take this time while you're putting in your comments. I want to thank everyone for the work that you're doing with your mentees. I think it is fabulous that you're willing to share your expertise and your experience in your assignments so that our new to profession teachers can be as successful as possible, as quickly as possible. We don't want our new folks struggling any longer than they have to. So thank you again for all the work you're doing with your mentee. All right, and thank you again for those comments. All right, the first thing I want to talk to you about today is a graphic that describes the phases of a first-year teacher's attitudes towards teaching. And so knowing and recognizing these phases helps you provide the level of support that you feel like your mentee needs at any given time during the school year. At the beginning of the year, new teachers come in and they're so excited that they got the job, and they're excited to start their new role in a new job. However, our new teachers, they work super, super hard. They work lots of hours. They're doing everything for the first time. And so oftentimes our new to profession teachers fall into that survival stage in October, November, and then in December. Oftentimes that's where our new teachers might be feeling a little discouraged. And it's a good thing that we have our winter break around that December time, because when we come back from December break, oftentimes new to profession teachers feel rejuvenated. They are looking forward to the end of the school year. They have worked through their first year, and they've done everything for the first time. And so they're moving into that reflection phase. So I just kind of wanted to show that to you, because I think it's important to recognize that your mentee may or may not go through this throughout the year. At the end of the day, honestly, I think all teachers go through this cycle. But but our new to profession teachers go through it way more dramatically, and the phases are seem to be more severe. So there's that, and so let's move on. So now I know we have lots of new mentors in our group this year, and some of you have not gone through the initial training. So I'm going to be weaving some of those initial training pieces that happened prior to taking on the role. So if I had all of you in initial training and we were talking about the different things that a mentor might do with their mentee, I had an activity to sort some mentor strips into mentor do's and mentor don'ts. We're not going to take the time to actually do that activity, but I'm going to give you a couple minutes to read through some of the things that mentors do and some of the things that we don't want mentors to do. So let me give you just a minute to read through that. And so the activity is designed to have a mentor do that matches with a mentor don't. For example, we want mentors to brainstorm several ways to set up reading groups, but we don't want mentors to tell the teacher how to do it. We want to position all of our new to profession teachers so that they're making decisions for their own classroom. We always want to position the mentee as the decision maker. Another example of mentor do's and mentor don'ts is that you definitely want to co-plan curriculum together with your mentee. It's a great opportunity for two colleagues to work together on curriculum, but what you might not want to do is to copy your lesson plans for the mentee to implement. Another example would be that we want our mentors to be our mentees' cheerleader. We want to cheer them on so that they're successful, but we never want to be critical of new to profession teachers. So hopefully you had a chance to read through each of the mentor do's and each of the mentor don'ts, and know that you can always come back to this recording if you ever want to review it further. So also in our initial training is communication skills. We don't have the time tonight to talk about the listening skills, mentor language questioning, or feedback triangle, but just know that I'm going to be weaving each one of these concepts into our monthly training. So next time we meet, I will weave some listening strategies into our October Mentor Zoom. All right, so let's talk about September. That's why we came together. September is the September calendar is up there in front of you. You'll notice that there are some recommended topics to talk with your mentees about for the week of September 8th. There are some recommended topics for the week of September 15th. And then always the third mentee meeting at the end of each month is always going to be the review of the reading. On the right-hand side are some things that we want our mentees to do. I want them to have watched some videos that I'm pushing out to them. I just made a certified teacher evaluation video and I pushed it out to them. So I'm hoping that they had a chance to watch it. It's about 6 minutes. I want them to be doing the reading, and I want them to be meeting with you. Okay, here's the reading for the general ed first days of school reading. It's the pages are 92 to 109, 138, 165. All these pages are about classroom management and setting up solid procedures and routines in the classroom. For the 10 critical components for success in the special education room, it's chapters 1 and 2. And there are the pages. Okay, so now for the week of September 8th, it's a good idea to start talking with your mentee about creating some sub-plans, some lesson plan templates. Lots of our new to profession teachers do not want to be out of the room. And we get that. However, encourage them to start thinking about leaving their kiddos with a sub. And leaving students with a sub is a great way to assess the strength of procedures. If the new to profession teacher comes back and all is well, then they know they have strong procedures. If things fall apart while they're away, they know that they might want to do some more work on their procedures. It's a great dipstick to see. Again, lots of our new to profession teachers do not want to be out of the classroom. We all get that, but it is important for them to have some emergency subplans because you never know what could happen. Having those emergency subplans is super important in case there's an emergency and they aren't able to make it to work that day. Also, encourage them to create a subplan lesson template so that they set themselves up for success whenever they do need a sub. I think that it's actually a pretty taxing it's pretty taxing on a new teacher to create their sub-plan template. However, it's a good use of their time because that would be the template that they use when they're out of the classroom all year long. Also, let your mentee know that it is their responsibility to be familiar with the IEP goals of each student. Accommodations level the playing field for those students who have IEPs. Now, I'm going to drop a link into your chats. This is the accommodations and modification form that's going to be sent out by SPED teachers, put into general ed classroom teachers who have students with IEPs. It is the general ed teacher's responsibility to know what those accommodations are for the students in their classroom. At the foundation level, you also want to make sure your mentee understands the difference between accommodations and modifications. Remember that accommodations support how a student learns, while modifications change what the student learns. So you want to make sure that they understand the difference between the two. Now, thinking about SPED specific things for the week of September 8th, for this week, our SPED teachers, please check in with your mentees to make sure that they have crosswalked their schedules with IEP goals. When the mentee is creating their master schedule, the starting point should always be the IEP. When they think about paras, including their support staff into the master schedule ensures that students are getting the minutes identified in the IEP. So I really want you to bring that point home, that the master schedule needs to be driven by the IEPs of students, and it's their job to make sure that every student with an IEP is getting the minutes identified in the IEP. And also make sure that your mentee knows that sometimes IEPs state that minutes should be provided by the SPED teacher, and sometimes they state the instructional minutes are provided by the paras. So if the IEP goes into that specific information of who is delivering the minutes, then they have to be followed. Last but not least, make sure that your mentees have sent out the accommodations to general ed teachers for students on their caseloads. All right, so we're moving into the week of February 15th. For the week of for the week of September 15th, it would be good if you could talk with your mentee about parent communication. Some sites have expectations for newsletters, and as the teacher that's been in the building way longer than your mentee, you likely know the expectations for your site. And now is a good time to have that conversation. At a minimum, you want to guide your mentee to some kind of systematic parent communication, whether it's the newsletter, whether it's documenting it within PowerSchool, whether it's calls home during the month. There needs to be some kind of systematic parent communication. So please put that on your mentee's radar. So that they are starting to think about that and think about what fits best in their teaching style. Do they want to do a monthly newsletter? Do they want to do a weekly newsletter? Do they want to use PowerSchool? Do they want to make calls home on a regular basis? I do want to point out that within PowerSchool, there is a log. There's a content log. So what you should be seeing is my PowerSchool profile, and there's a place where teachers can put in and record, keep a running log of contacts they've made with their parents. Now, I can't do that because I'm not a teacher of record. I don't have any students, but your mentees as well as your PowerSchool profile should have all your students there, and you should be able to use PowerSchool as an option of keeping that systematic parent communication going throughout the year. Also, for the week of September 15th, talk with your mentee about maybe doing a peer observation. Personally, I think peer observations are one of the best professional development experiences for teachers. Going into another classroom to see how their colleagues deliver instruction gives you a frame of reference. Your mentee would get to see different strategies for engagement or small groups or management. Your new to profession teacher is probably coming off a student teaching experience, but there's no guarantee that the student teaching was in their classroom assignment. So check in to see if taking a day might be something they want to do. Know that some teachers are really interested in doing this, and reach out to me. I can make that happen for your new to profession teacher. If your mentee isn't interested, and that's perfectly okay, just let it be, but let them know that it's an option anytime throughout the year. I do recommend that if your mentee wants to go visiting other classrooms, there is value in having you next to them so you can help them identify what they're seeing. Sometimes a new to profession teacher gets stuck on looking at walls. They might get stuck looking at certain things. So having you next to them helps frame what they're seeing. And so that's an option for you as well. If you're willing to go with your mentee, if doing a peer observation, I think that's going to be the best case scenario. But with that said, you would also need to be willing to leave your classroom as well. So talk with your mentee, see if it's something that they would want to do.
Michelle, do we go through you or our principal to do that?
Me.
Okay.
Me. I have I have a pot of money for subs, and I can make that happen for you. So like I said before, the last week of the month is always the check-in on the reading. Again, always give your mentee grace. They've got a lot of moving pieces in their lives right now. So if they haven't done the reading, it's no problem. Here are the big ideas from the first days of school reading. If you're a general ed classroom teacher and they haven't had a chance to do their reading, you might want to talk to them a little bit about their procedures. Ask them, how do you feel your procedures are going? Are you using the teach, rehearse, reinforce cycle? So what you're looking at in front of you are really the big ideas around the reading, and it's all about classroom management being one of the most important components to get a classroom running. For the week of September 22, our SPED folks, hopefully, fingers crossed, they have read chapters 1 and 2 from 10 critical components. And the big idea in the reading from the 10 critical components is really about room arrangements. Room arrangements are crucial in the special ed classroom. Thinking about that third bullet point, I always like to say that engagement and management support each other. Well-managed classrooms allow for maximum instruction, while engaged students have fewer misbehaviors. So there's definitely a strong correlation between engagement and classroom management. They support each other. So that's something that you want your mentee to start thinking about. And yes, model and teach organizational skills for students. That's one of the big ideas from the reading in 10 critical components. All right. On to the new teacher website. Let me drop the link in there for you. Also, on the last week of the month, I always encourage you to check in with the new teacher website and the checklist. So what's going to come up here is the September checklist. So it's always a good idea. Again, on the last week of the month, it happens to be September 22nd for this month. Pull up the September checklist and just go through it with them. Make sure that they've done everything on the list, as well as bring their attention to some resources. And oftentimes the resources support the bullet points that you would have, that I'm recommending that you talk with your mentees about, so that there's a correlation between the bullet points and all of September, and then the resources that are being provided. There's some parent communication resources, some templates that might be helpful, as well as some lesson plan templates that might be helpful. Also, I want to bring your attention to a new tab on the new teacher website. Remember, I told you about that video. The Certified Teacher Evaluation Resources video is here as well. So I'll be populating all the videos that I create through the year onto this page. One question that came to me just recently is, I did some new teacher Zooms last year, and I have to tell you, they failed miserably. I had all this great idea that I was going to have new teacher Zooms once a month, and I was going to provide all this great information to the new teachers, and they were just too busy to attend. So what I've decided to do this year is we're not having any new teacher Zooms. I'm creating a video and I'm pushing it out to them, and they can watch it at their leisure. Whenever they feel like watching it, they can watch it. So that's a little change from last year. All right. So I've been doing a lot of quickly talking, because I really do try to keep these Zooms down to 30 minutes. But now is time for you to get into your Google Drives to make sure that you have the 3 Foursquares. So you should have a September 8th, a September 15th, and a September 22nd Foursquare in your drive. Now, we did spend some time in August favoriting your folder, so you should be able to get into your drive. So let me show you what that looks like. You should be able to go into your drive from the employee page. And if you were able to favorite your folder, you should be able to go into Start. And your folder should be there waiting for you. You should be able, it should be sitting right there. Your folder should be there, and you should be able to click in it. If you cannot find your folder that I created for you, if you click into Shared with Me, you'll probably find it there. Your Google folder should be your name, your first name, with your mentee's initials behind it. So I'm going to give everyone a couple minutes to get into your folders, make sure you have them. And if you do have them, feel free to just give me a thumbs up and then log off. We're done for the night. If you have any questions, know that I'll be here as long as I need to be. I can answer any specific questions, and I can help you with getting into your drive. So I saw a thumbs up. If you were able to get into your Google Drive, you're all ready to rock and roll for the week of September, then log off and have a great month, and I'll see you in October.